This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
What's up, everybody?
What's going on?
What it do?
And we're here at another NFC East show. We're streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Zodiac TV, and the Northeast Streaming Sports Network. Week 2 in the books. Week 3 about to get started, and I'm going to start it off just the right way. Hold on one sec.
Dallas sucks! Dallas sucks! Dallas sucks!
You know, I had to throw that right on in there, right at the very beginning, let everybody know exactly how I felt, because it's Dallas week, baby. It's Dallas week.
It is going to be Dallas this week, all right.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
For once, we agree on something. For once.
I know that you're rooting for us. I know that you're rooting for us, the Giants fan down there, because you think that the Giants have a better chance of getting over the Eagles than they do the Cowboys.
I'm rooting for Dallas to lose. However that happens, that's how it happens. I'm just going to leave it at that. As long as Dallas loses, it is what it is. So
this week I got 3 against me.
yeah. Well, who's the other one?
Well, the Washington.
Oh, Chris. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, just because I think he's going to show up here in a little bit. He's probably just running a little bit behind, trying to get the kids to bed and everything. So hopefully he can make it out here today. But I'm going to start off. I got to start off, and I want to hear your take, Sneaky, on Thursday night's game.
It's going to bring back some memories.
Okay. Lack of discipline. I mean, 11 penalties. I'm not going to talk about the non-offsides. I'm not going to talk about it, even though I just did. Daniel Jones. I mean, if you said Daniel Jones is trash and he has to go, you did not watch the game. You did not watch the game. Daniel Jones he had a great game. I'll say he had a great game. I'm gonna leave it.
He did get NFC East quarterback of the week.
Yes, he did. I think Garrett is now being exposed. Yes, True Blue, you've warned me about him. And you and many other Dallas Cowboy fans have warned me about Garrett and his lack of ability of
these.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what? And honestly, we got to get rid of the jet sweep. We got to get rid of the reverses. I don't understand why he was running Barkley in between the guards. He should have worked them on the outside in. I think he was holding back Daniel Jones at times. And of course, towards the end of the game, we were playing not to lose. And you know when that happens, what happens? You lose. So those are my quick, go-to thoughts as of Thursday. And I'm ready to go Sunday night, Sunday afternoon, ceremony with Eli getting his number retired and the Falcons coming to MetLife. Somebody got to win it. We're both 0-2. Somebody has to win that game. and I want them against us.
Well, I do have to say that the Falcons are a little ripe for the picking, and they're going to be coming into New York, and your pride and joy is getting put in to the Ring of Honor.
Yep, and he's getting his number retired. Yeah,
he's going to get the whole number retired.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Got you. All right. So I mean that should be a big deal.
Yep.
So anything that'll help get you guys up. I mean, I got to imagine that last week was a really tough loss in a lot of ways. You know, I don't mean to bring up old wounds, kind of, but I mean, realistically, I was watching that game and I felt like Washington was doing everything they can to try to give you the game, and you guys did everything you could to give it back. And my first question to you is that how much of that do you put on Judge?
He's the head guy. I mean, he's the head coach. So I would be remiss to say not everything. I mean, I would not. I would be remiss to say put everything on him. That's something that he'll say himself. The buck stops here. You could point blames at everybody, but I mean, he's the head coach. But I personally wouldn't put it on Judge. Because he's giving Garrett the faith in putting in an effective game plan. And he's putting in the confidence in Garrett. And I'm sure they go over plays and Garrett's telling him this is what I think we should do this week. And, Judge has to sign off on it. So, he has his stamp of approval on it. So, yeah, he's going to get some of the blame. But for me, it's more on Garrett. And not only Garrett, but Patrick Graham, too. His defensive play calling is also suspect. I don't know what happened to our defense that happened last year when we were better with less toys this year. I don't know what happened. We went from top 10 in points, top 12 in yardage to I think we're like top 20 now or something, 21 or something like that. It just, I don't know. I don't know what is the deal, honestly.
And a question from Eddie. How concerned are you about regarding Saquon?
Well, I love that they're keeping him on a low count. And I know he was questionable this week. I didn't see him on the injury report from what I saw this week. So I think he's a go. I'm really not concerned. We're in game 3 now. I would like to see him to get about 15 to 18 carries minimum. He looked great on that long run, that 40-yard run last week. So, but I just don't like the fact that Garrett's calling up the middle plays. Let's work them on the outside gaps of the tackles to the inside, kind of work them in outside in. But I'm not really concerned. I'm not going to say let them loose, but 15, 18, I think that'll work.
And you got to have some concern for the defense. I mean, they did let up 31 points to Heineke, who, I understand. Like I said, I gave a hot take that Washington's going to be better off with Heineke than Fitzpatrick. Mm-hmm. And Fitzpatrick made me, all right, look like I was really smart because obviously he was gone right away. So, but Heineke isn't the end-all, be-all. You figure that he's going to win games that the defense is going to hold them to 21 points. And 21 points should be enough for that defense. Right. Where the Eagles letting up 17 points to San Francisco, that was a huge win. Big win on that part. The fact that we didn't win the game is, I'll get to that in a few minutes. But realistically, it's, like I said, they let up a lot of points to a really inexperienced quarterback who's got one playoff game, and that's it.
Well, it's not only the points that it's a concern, it's the yards. The last two games, we've given up over 800 yards in total offense to the opposing team. And of course, yards equals points. Okay, that's kind of how football is. And for me, that is a big concern. I mean, 2 games and people almost breaking 1,000. That's unacceptable. And again, it doesn't speak to what we had last year. I'm still baffled at what's different this year from last year. But I hear you on your points of what you're talking about, the points and how Heineke. Look, we made Bridgewater look like a Pro Bowl quarterback, and we made Heineke look like a above average quarterback. And another thing too, we need to capitalize on opportunities and mistakes that I'm going to throw this in there. The mistake that we didn't capitalize on was the interception. 3 points. We needed to get 7, not 3. And I think that series after the pick, Garrett showed me how conservative he was. And it's disappointing. It's extremely disappointing.
Playing not to lose rather than to win.
Right.
I can understand that. So, like I said, I think that, Washington didn't play such a great game, that I thought that the game in total was really poorly done by both sides. That defense letting up so many points. It was like, who didn't want to win? All the way down to the end of the clock.
Yeah.
And you can say whatever you want. He lined up in the neutral zone.
Yeah, but I mean, but you still see. I mean, I really want to see a side angle, because the angle that we're seeing all over social media, and even I saw it on Sports Center, is that he didn't move, or he moved right as the ball was moving. So but at the end of the day, I could care less. I could care less if he wasn't offsides. I could care less if it was a missed call. Look, it shouldn't have happened. You don't let the refs determine the game. And yeah, I'm seeing here a Facebook user on my end. It said last week was the most painful loss in the Judge era. Well, yeah, I'll agree to that. For now, it is. Why is Moto not talking? He should know Garrett. I think he's letting me express my feelings, because I mean, Cowboy fans are right.
Yeah,
you're right.
Here's the biggest reason.
But hold on, let me clear. One is this is just the second game. 2, if the offsides didn't happen, we may be having a different conversation. Although I still would talk about the conservativeness of the offense, and 2, the 11 penalties, or 10. But go ahead, Blue.
No, the thing about Garrett is that he gets into his little deal where he's going to keep running the same plays over and over and over. And what I mean by that, he's going to keep taking the same path with his running backs. Like you were talking about, how he's going to keep them inside.
Mm-hmm.
And then, those reverses and all this other stuff. He's going to keep the same playbook because nobody puts it on him to say, hey, let's change it up a little bit. And that's the reason that Kellen Moore is our offensive coordinator here in Dallas. I think your coach, what you were speaking about earlier, your coach needs to rein him in. And if he's agreeing to the game plan, then, that coach needs to be double checked. Somebody needs to check up on him, because
right.
It's the same persona for the past 12 years with that guy.
You're right. And again, I did say that, his thumbprint is on it, and he does bear some responsibility. If not all responsibility. But it's look, I don't know if you guys know this, but since 2011,
0-2,
we have been 0-2 8 times. 8, and then we were, if I'm not mistaken, 5 straight in the last
It's
5
5
years.
straight, 8 out of the last 10. Just for everybody that's counting.
And I shut up, Jamie. And then I still love you, man. And then all the I saw something from the boat picture. Shout out OJ, no sports. He put up this beautiful piece, which I am going to tag him back, by the way. That since the boat picture, we're like 15 and 35. We have the worst record in the NFL.
Yep.
Since that boat picture.
Yep.
And that boat
that's a
picture,
great meme right now. That's a great meme right now going around the NFC.
Boat picture, that boat picture, as a matter of fact, took place right before the Dallas Cowboys game.
No, it was after. It was after we clinched the playoff spot. That was in Miami when they left. I think it was that Monday. Now, and okay, since I'm bringing that up, let me just say something about that game. That picture was taken before the playoff game against Green Bay.
That's it.
In the that's what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
In the 2016 wild card
Yep.
game, we were in Green Bay.
Yep.
Now, I'm going to say this. I don't know if you guys remember this, but it was Beckham, Cruz, Sterling. They all went out on the field in Lambeau with no shirts on.
Yep.
Okay. Now, apparently they said they weren't cold, but I'll tell you what was cold. Beckham's hands, because he sure as hell dropped 3 passes. 1, if not 2, could have been an easy touchdown. And, and these football players, I know they talk about, CTE, traumatic brain injury, whatnot, TBIs. But Rodgers remembered 2011 when Eli threw that Hail Mary right before the half. You know why I say that? What the hell did he do right before the half? He threw his own Hail Mary and got it.
Yep.
So, yeah, then it's been a downward spiral after that playoff game.
It's also kind of crazy that this morning on Good Morning Football that they brought, because Victor Cruz is on that show, filling in as one of the anchors, and they brought that up.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's being asked about it. And, of course, he's just going to the, hear nothing, say nothing, see nothing attitude. Because a lot of Giants fans are still upset, which they should be.
Well, let me back up. I'm not okay. When I saw the picture,
upset at that, but not upset
right.
at what they did, but how they carried themselves.
Well, I look. I will say this: I could care less what they do off the field, as long as they produce on the field. Because when it don't, it adds conversation like that.
Exactly.
Had we would have beat Green Bay, the boat picture would have even been a discussion.
Infamy.
Had we would have beaten Green Bay, just Green Bay. We wouldn't be talking about, or I wouldn't be talking about Beckham and Sterling and Cruz going out there with no shirts. It's cold. I don't care. It's cold in Lambeau. I've never been in Wisconsin. I've never been to Green Bay. I would love to be, I'd love to go to a game on Lambeau because it's history, right? But I don't have to be there to see how cold it is. I'm good. So
it gets cold.
But yeah, some people were pissed off. Some people were upset about the whole boat picture. And then it just helped that we lost. And then it just helped of the performance of that week. But and is it and the thing is, and I'm sorry I'm talking so much. I am passing about my Giants. I don't what's going on, man? I don't need to be reminded about how poorly we have been in the last 5 years. Because in the last 5 years, we've had 2 GMs and 3 head coaches.
Correct.
You don't have a successful team with those stats. So, Your Honor, I rest my case.
Well, I remember the Black Cat incident too, and since that, you guys have lost even more so.
The black, I mean, that don't even. That's I have a
more
black
my
cat.
thing.
I have a black cat in the house. All cats matter. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, I definitely, I knew I was going to get the box of tissues out for this. So I figured that you would be, upset.
Hey, but
So,
I'm gonna have to give it to Sneaky though, as he posted, him driving, the sun did rise the next day.
Yes, thank you. Yes, that is true.
So
hey, he
That is
stuck. He
true,
stuck to his word. He did say the one thing that he'd guarantee is that he'd be wearing Giant stuff the next day,
that's right.
and he wore Giant stuff the next day.
Damn
So,
right. Damn
Because
right.
I came on his show to talk to him for a minute. I figured
There
he
you
might
go.
he might be a little, need some consoling.
I think I'm kind of, I hate to say it, I'm not used to it, but it's familiar territory. Let's just say that.
Yeah, that's never a good feeling though.
No, it's not.
When
No.
8 out of the last 10 years, you go, you start out 0-2.
Yeah.
So let me ask this question. At what point does Judge get on a hot seat?
Oh, I think Judge is. He has to produce something this year, at least a winning record or a playoff berth. Granted, it's only 2 games into the season. Something has to be done, but it's going to be more difficult come the following year. I could actually see him be on for another 2 years, because let's just say in a scenario that Gettleman's fired, okay, which a lot of people believe that that's what's going to happen if we stay the course. Gettleman is going to be out of there. Now they're going to bring their own GM in, and we all know when a new GM comes in, he kind of wants his own guy. He doesn't want to be inherited anything. But the thing is, with if there's any changes, again, this is the second game of the season. Any changes done next season or in the off season, it's going to change the whole dynamic of the team, which I'm not used to being a part of since Dave Brown days. To be honest, I'm used to stability in the quarterback position. I'm used to stability in the coaching ranks. I'm used to stability in the GM ranks. This is unfamiliar territory for me. Now, maybe in the early 80s, before Phil Simms got there, people were used to the turnover, the turnaround of the team. I'm not used to this. I'm not. And I don't want to be in a situation where we're not patient. We're not going to let the team mature and grow. But at the same time, at what point do we just say, all right, now we got to move on? And I don't want it to be anytime soon, to be honest. But unfortunately, with the way the league is now, it might happen.
Well, I feel that I kind of agree with you on the fact that I feel that if they have a bad season, Gettleman will be the first one to go.
Mm-hmm.
They'd hire a new GM, and they'd give him 1 more year. He'd have a proven year because the GM wants to get a feel for the team.
Yep.
That he'll do what he can. He'll try to listen to the coach a little bit, but he'll do what he can to fill in the holes. But then ultimately, if that coach doesn't produce that year, the new coach is going to be right behind.
Right.
And at least that's my opinion, but I don't know.
My opinion is I think he's more on the hot seat before 8 games. I think with the hiring of Jason Garrett, I think with the 0-2 start yet again, I think he's on the hot seat, before 8 games. If he's not, if the team is not producing on the offensive side, the questions are going to be, who hired this person? Because there's going to be a fall guy, regardless.
Uh-huh. Right.
Any way you want to look at it, there's going to be a fall guy, because the organization that's ran by the top down, it's stuff. You got to remember, stuff doesn't roll uphill; it rolls down.
Right.
So the first person that Gettleman's going to go after is his head coach and that hire. So,
but it all depends, though, if who hired Garrett.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, was it Coach Judge, or was it Gettleman? Gettleman just say, hey, this is who we're thinking about, and of course, being a head coach, a newly head coach, he's going to be like, yeah, sounds good. Let's do it. Now, with that being said, would it be different or had it be different if Judge could go and get his actual guy if that's what he actually wanted?
Yeah.
But I mean, we'll see. I mean, again, I just hope that we could get past Atlanta, and then after Atlanta, I think we have the Saints, and then I'll be in AT&T Stadium with you. I got to talk to you anyway. Every time I see you on Wednesdays, but when we get off, I'm like, I go back to my normal life as Clark Kent, without my cape, and then I see you on anyway. But
so you got to get through 1 week at a time, really. I mean, it's
that's pretty much.
Yeah,
it.
I know we're spending a lot of time on the Giants here, but you guys are right now 0-2.
Thank you.
You are making the NFC East still look bad. Got to work something out there. Get a win. Beat the lowly Falcons. But the hard part, the answer to that though is stopping the quarterback, because you're playing another quarterback. And this quarterback actually used to be good.
Right. And the thing is though, I keep talking about Calvin Ridley, how he's not Roddy White or Julio Jones, but the guy just caught like $160. Or I'm sorry, $116 last week.
Yep.
So we got to stop him. We got to stop the running game. It's just we got to win. Bottom line, we got to win. We got to win.
Yeah, that's why again I'm getting to the point where I'm saying 8 games and he's in the hot seat. If there's no production by 8 games, somebody's on the hot seat. And maybe it'd be a little good thing to do some homework to see who did that hiring, because I'd be interested to know as well.
Yeah. I would actually. I mean, now that we keep bringing that up, and I think anybody's on the hot seat. It is Garrett.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
I think it, and I think Garrett will be the fall guy. He may be the first to go.
Yep.
Because Judge could be like, hey, he's my offensive coordinator. He had a good history. He came well recommended. What have you done?
Yep. I took the advice of somebody above me, and it didn't work out, so I got to go with my guy.
I mean, Jerry loved Garrett. Loved him, and you know that more than anybody. So it wouldn't have surprised me if Jones called up, the Maras and be like, "Hey, my guy's good. Give him a chance. Let's see what he can do for you guys. You guys got a new coach. He could probably be your future coach. He has the experience." It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
That would surprise me.
The kind of I'll scratch my back if you rub mine type of deal.
I thought that only happens up in New England.
No, actually, down in Houston, apparently.
No doubt. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I guess it's always there's a sprinkle here, a sprinkle there, a little bit all over the place. So
allegedly. All right, let's talk about another damn team. Aren't there?
Here we go. How about you, Philly sports guy?
All right. Well. So, for the Eagles, I felt this week, our loss was all in the 3rd and 1s and the 4th and 1s and the goal line plays. Like, obviously, any 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1 play is a big play in a game. And we lost every single one of those battles.
Wow.
And because of that, that's why we lost the game. The defense did well enough to keep us in the game. But not scoring after a 91-yard pass play and having 6 opportunities at a 1st and goal to try to get in and not doing it, it was definitely rookie mistakes made by the coach. A little bit of poor execution from the quarterback.
Yeah, I that game came on at noon, and I remember here in Texas, and I started watching it, and I was like, wow, this Eagles team is starting to march down the field. And then there was that long pass, but the guy stepped out of bounds. And I think that tempo right there, that one little poor, procedural play that, he stepped out of bounds. But I thought the Eagles were going to keep carrying it as they did, and I finally got to another place and I saw that they weren't scoring, and I was like, wow, what happened here? Because San Francisco wasn't doing anything. But as you alluded to, once I saw the time of possession, I was like, okay, well, this game's somewhere. But then, as you said, the 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, they weren't executing. So, of course, that's going to kill your team.
Well, and going down the field 3 times, specifically, and only having 3 points to show for it.
Yeah.
Obviously, like even if you got field goals, like they had a blocked field goal. Okay, that happens on occasion. You got that one. Yeah, you got that one. But when it's 4th and 1, take the points. Take the points. If you don't make that, it's such a buzzkill for everything. You said, so now there's 3 minutes left in the half. You're trying to put a dagger in, but now that dagger comes back and they got it twisted on you, and now they just drove up the field, and their biggest play of the game happened right before the half. He had Debo Samuel had a 40-yard pass play. That was the longest play of the game for San Francisco, and it was only one play, and it got him from there, from the 4-yard line to the 45-yard line, and it started that drive. And twice they snuck it to get a first down, and then snuck it into the end zone.
Yep.
So, and then, like I said, even towards the end of the game, when you got a 3rd and 1 and you got to make the stop just so that you can get the ball back with the 2-minute warning looming, and they couldn't do it.
I do want to just touch base real quick. One of my favorite stats, and to me, it depicts the game and the type of flow of the game. And you mentioned earlier, True Blue, time of possession. San Francisco had the ball for almost 35 minutes. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Philly had it for 25 and some change.
Ultimately, I think it was it came out to just over 25 minutes.
That in itself kind of gives a and it was a low scoring game. It was 17-11, right? Kind of an odd score.
We had a 3rd and 15 that was coming, but because of a bad hit by Barnett, that they wound up getting a penalty, personal foul, 15 yards, first down.
Right.
Another 3 minutes, 2.5 to 3 minutes ran off the clock after that. And they didn't score nothing, but it was still enough that 3 minutes of time we couldn't give up.
Right. Well, even a personal foul is an automatic first down, regardless.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It would have been, had he not get a late hit, because that's what it was. It was a late hit, and he does it all the time. And the absolute worst time of the possible game to do so,
right.
Barnett always does the same thing. It's maybe after 5 years you'd learn, but no, he still does it in the worst time of the game, and then ultimately we wind up, not having the ball for another 3 minutes. Think about another 3 minutes, what that could have did in that game.
Right. Yeah. No, players don't realize what they're doing wrong. It didn't take till Eric Flowers until he got to the football team to realize, oh, maybe I shouldn't be offsides.
Now, that goes back to coaching. The coaches are the ones who should be picking up on that. That's their job.
And again, that's why Eric Flowers is no longer with the New York Football Giants, because he just couldn't get his shit straight. There was some ridiculous penalties that was called on his behalf throughout his career. And he knew what he was. I'm not saying he knew he was wrong, and I know that he was regretful in some of the instances. But and speaking of penalties, how many of these penalties are ticky-tack penalties? I'm sorry. The one in Washington where Jones scored the touchdown and the receiver is pushing on the shoulder of the DB. He's blocking the man, and they called him for holding. If I'm not mistaken, holding is when the arm is literally over the neck. That wasn't the case.
Past the shoulder, yeah.
Well, yeah, and he was pushing him on the shoulder, blocking him, and he still got whoever. I think it was it Romo? I don't know who was calling the game. He was like, I didn't see it. he even was even quoted saying, I didn't even
Yeah, that was Joe Buck and Troy Aikman.
On Thursday night?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even they were like, I don't even see the penalty. I mean, do you guys or have you guys seen? Well, I mean, shit, True Blue, they called back what, 2 touchdowns? The Chargers, I mean, they got 2 touchdowns called back. Their first one was a ticky-tack. I didn't see the second one. I didn't see the shift. But the first one I saw, I was like, really?
Yeah, there was
Really?
that illegal shift on there. The tight end was coming in and never positioned himself before the snap of the ball. That was there. Yeah, you're right with the ticky-tack calls. The ones that are really starting to get to people is the personal fouls for taunting.
Yes.
Those are starting to become more and more part of the game than they should be. Yeah. They're becoming more prevalent, but the referees are taking it upon themselves to try and, there's not a consistent call anywhere. If you're in the ear of somebody, okay, I get it. If you're bumping somebody, I get it. But if you're celebrating and you're not over the player, you're off to the side, what are you doing there, ref?
Yeah.
That's something that needs to be they put it out there. The network, NFL Network puts it out there. What the rule books put it out there, but there's no consistency on it. And it's starting to become
because they didn't do any class about it. They just said, we want you guys to start to call this. And that there's nothing saying, oh, well, this is a good call, this is a bad call. And what are they going to wind up doing? They're going to wind up reinstating the review for these types of calls. Yep. I mean, because realistically, first off, a taunting call should only be 5 yards.
Right.
You can make it a personal foul, but make it 5 yards. Let's be real. You know what I mean? Like, right. It's like, all right, 5 yards. If you want to give him a first down, because really, it's not the 15 yards that does it. It's the first down that makes the difference.
First down.
Yep.
And that's the problem I have with the call.
We'll see.
You're giving somebody a first down just because they celebrated a little too hard. This is when we had the not fun league.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to stop all these things. I mean, hey, listen. Stop the defenses running all the way across the field to go sit in front of a camera.
Right.
Stop that from happening.
Right.
Don't tell me that somebody who's just like, yeah, and it just happens to be too close to the other player that it's a taunting foul. Get the hell out of here. You know what I mean?
When the Chargers had the ball, they were driving down the field, and Allen, number 1-3 for the Chargers wide receiver, he caught the ball. He got tackled by our linebacker. Well, he gets up and he bumps our linebacker and then gets in his ear as he's walking away, keeps bumping him while the linebacker's walking. Now, that's taunting. If the guy caught the ball, the linebacker gets up, walks away, and he keeps getting bumped from behind and talked into his ear, okay, I can see that. But the guy celebrating after making a hell of a catch, just because he's celebrating, getting a 15-yard penalty, taking that play away. That's
and that's the problem. All these calls are so subjective.
It is.
It is so subjective that you're right. There's no standard to the rule. I mean, the rule is black and white, but there's so much gray around it that you're not wrong for calling any type. Like you said, Allen. I saw it. He stood up. He bumped him. Flag. But it wasn't intentional, ref. I don't care. He bumped him. That's a penalty.
See, and this is the thing, too, when we're talking to Dean Blandino about it, and he says it's a judgmental call. The referee right there, he's going to be the one to do it.
Yeah.
Now, are they going to take it back after this year to see what they can do? I think they should be taking that up right now and having those conversations and saying, hey, we need to have a standard on what's going to be called a personal foul or taunting and a personal foul, because this is not consistent across the board.
Right.
And that's the biggest problem, when there's no consistency and it's supposedly the professional football league.
Right. Well, I mean, and he even mentioned that there's no standard or They were. What he said that they had the 3 pre-games to practice this, and that's still not enough. That's not enough.
But it never even went through in college. They don't really do this in college either.
No, you're right.
There's no precedent on what is and what isn't. So let's screw it up this year. Let's look at all the penalties that we wind up calling and figure it out for next year. The problem is that what's going to happen is that this is going to be a big call in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And it's going to be ridiculous. Or in a championship game, it's going to be at a point where when they have made really difficult bad calls.
Yep.
Calls that the public itself feels that are a bad call, betting agencies have given back the bets. And that's what it's going to come down to. When the referees start controlling the outcome to games by calling stupid penalties, that's when the NFL is going to have no choice but to jump in. Because ultimately, that's where you start running into way too many issues. I already realized that these NFL refs are calling bad games. So,
well, here's the thing. You got to remember the NFL is now in league with Caesar's Palace. That's this is why that was a big conversation is the NFL wants to join up with Caesar's Palace, but now you just joined at the hip with the betting league, and now you've got people who are employed making decisions for a game that has a line in Vegas.
Right.
There's a reason basketball didn't allow that. If they can't put a standard across the board, then there's going to be some misfits. But it's not good either way you look at it.
So, Jamie, you were talking about it's going to happen in the Super Bowl. It's going to happen in a championship game. I don't know if you guys remember way back in the day when it was a former Miami University coach after Jerry Jones. Was it Dick Erickson? I think it was. He coached the Seahawks with Rick Meyer back in the day. I know. You got this is football knowledge right here. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. He was drafted number 2 after Drew Bledsoe. Well, the
Notre Dame.
Yes, out of Notre Dame. They were going to go to the playoffs. They were in the lead. Now it was the Jets versus the Seahawks in Seattle. I want to say it was in Seattle. Vinny Testaverde was the quarterback. If the Seahawks would have won, they would have been in the playoffs. And this was before instant replay came in. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, Testaverde, last seconds, bolted to the end zone, got tackled clearly before the ball even crossed the plane. But the refs called it a touchdown. They went off the field. Now, because of that messed up call, which this is going to create, this subjective personal foul is going to cause someone to lose their jobs, lose their livelihoods, careers are going to be lost because of this. And it's not even only the Super Bowl. We're talking about other consequences and repercussions of a rule put in that is completely subjective. Right now, True Blue, the way you're looking at me right now with your arms crossed, well, they were crossed a few seconds ago, that is a personal foul, 15 yards, first down.
Yep.
Just by you doing that alone.
Yep.
So it's unfortunate, but it's something that we gotta play throughout the year.
Yep, that's it. Yeah, and our game against the Chargers,
Sorry, I had to change location. It was getting way too loud in there, and it's like when I'm having a hard time hearing, and they keep turning up the radio. It's like, okay, it's time for me to get out of there. So obviously, I guess they didn't want me talking in there because they know that I'm right underneath the speaker, and they kept turning it up. So, but. Well, you know what? Real quick, since we're done crying about the referees, because we're always going to be crying about the referees, there was another game that was being played before we get into this week's matchups, and You want to talk about that for a little bit there, True Blue, since you've been the quiet
Yeah.
one.
So going back to the game,
I'm gonna go take a shit. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
that's where. So yeah, the Chargers. We came out firing on all cylinders. You know, we stopped them. We got the ball. We drove down the field. We got our touchdown. You know, our offense looked good. Our defense looks good. We have 6 takeaways in the first 2 weeks, which is really damn good. You know, seeing what my guys are doing in the backfield, my secondary. But there was one part of the game that had my biggest concern, and I was actually speaking with my buddy Prime last night, and we were talking about it, which wasn't seen, which could have been the game itself, which was the clock went out in the stadium. So there was 20-some seconds left in the game, and all of a sudden the clock keeps running because the guys on the field don't have any clue on what's going on. And the clock starts going down, and that's the reason that the timeout came at 4 seconds. And, of course, everyone starts hollering, and you've got the reporters on the sidelines and Monday quarterback saying, you know, this was the worst game management that anybody could have done with 20 seconds. You could have continued to go down the field, get closer to the goalpost, everything else. But when the whole time was that all the lights apparently went out in the whole stadium from as far as the game clock was concerned. So there, you know, the NFL should that's another something that the officials should have took upon themselves to say, hey, let's call a timeout. We don't see any clocks. It's not right. I mean, we had a 56-yard field goal to win the game with 4 seconds left when we could have got another, hopefully, you know, with the timeouts that we had and everything else, we could have gained another 10, 15 yards. Now, I'm not saying that would have been the outcome, but the NFL official crew should have did something to not let that situation come to, you know, where it did. 20 seconds, you lose 16 seconds because nobody knows what's going on because there's no game clock. Now,
right. Well, and nobody knew whether. I mean, and is that done? Is that like next level gamesmanship happening? Do you think that was what was occurring?
I don't know, because see, this is, I mean, the way he was describing it, because he was there, and the way he was describing it, and the way I saw it from TV. The game clock went out. I saw it. I mean, you could not see any game clock. Dak was looking around. The whole team was looking around like, what the hell's going on? And the clock is apparently still running because we see it on the screen, but you don't see it on the field at any point because all the screens were black. So the NFL officials from upstairs, from New York, somewhere, they're all in sync. There's somebody should have made that phone call saying, hey, we've got to stop this clock. It has to be a timeout. Whatever we have to do to get back on the line of scrimmage, whatever, we can continue that clock. But the clock didn't come back on until there was 4 seconds left in the game, and then that's when they decided to call timeout. So, again, the people there at SoFi Stadium, who knows? But the NFL officials, again, didn't do their job, so who knows?
Right.
I don't know. But you're in a brand new stadium. You have done everything to test the facilities out, the systems out, the clocks out, and this happens at the end of the game with a tie game, almost going into overtime with a drive, and it just doesn't. And
that's what makes me wonder if it was a certain type of gamesmanship.
Yeah, it didn't sit right with me when it happened, and when I was hearing it from him last night, it really bothered me because then you start getting those thoughts in your head. Is it the stadium or the employees or whomever taking it upon themselves? Because again, you're dealing with Las Vegas. You're at the hip with Caesar's Palace. And I'm just throwing it out there, but you should have. It's not cool. It's not cool at all.
No. And it's funny because you're talking about 16 seconds worth of time, where it could have easily been 20 seconds, and then they say, okay, game's over. You know, because you guys didn't know enough about it. And now you're sitting with one timeout left. Like at some point, somebody would have had to step in there. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, hold on. They had 20 seconds left. they're all looking around trying to figure out what's going on, and then there's no clock, no time. Like at the moment that the clocks went out, I would have said to the ref, "What is this? What's going on? Time out. Time out."
Well, see, that was the thing, was that we had the limited number of timeouts. McCarthy was, I saw him on the sideline running up and down trying to get some kind of answer. Dak's looking everywhere. The team's looking everywhere. Like, what's going on? And nobody could answer. So yeah, again, it's the gamesmanship. Who did what, when, where, why, and why did it happen at this certain time? And again, you had all the Monday morning quarterbacks blaming the coach, blaming everybody on the Dallas Cowboys, but it was the stadium itself that the clocks went out. So
yeah, but you wouldn't know that if you were watching on TV. Yeah, exactly. For the most part.
Exactly, for the most part. Yeah, that's why I go back and I watch them and I look at them and I start saying, what the hell's going on? But I'm glad the Cowboys won. We got you this week, and it's going to be a fun weekend.
Oh, yes, it is. And for everybody that doesn't know anything that we've been talking about over the last few weeks, let me go ahead and put my thing up. We're going to be down in Dallas, all of us. In fact, the three of us that you're going to see right here, three of us are going to be doing it live on Sunday night over at Texas Live. Not only that, we got Jim Jeffcoat coming. I'm working on getting a Philadelphia Eagle there. We're going to have, what's his name from Truce? I'm sorry.
The Clary OG.
Clary OG.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Clary OG coming from Truce. He's another Cowboys fan. Don't worry, I'm enough. I can take care of all the Cowboy fans that they can bring in. That's all right. I'm going to have Jim Jeffcoat. I'm going to have Truce. The guys from Truce. I'm going to have True Blue. And don't worry, I've got enough of an ego and enough of a mouth. I can cover all of you guys. So, but it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a meet and greet beforehand over at Texas Live. And then also, like I said, doing a show or a round table, depending on how much space they kind of give us and then whether everybody can hear us or not, because it's kind of a limited type of situation. We're excited to be down there. I'm excited to see you guys. It's been a year since I've seen you, since I've seen you both, because I saw you one day after the other. So literally since the last time I saw you, I got done being upset with the game, and then I went to go eat my food away, and I had to put on a Sneaky G shirt. So
and True Blue, trust me, he did eat his feelings. He ate every single one of his feelings when. Now, so Philly, you're not gonna. Are you gonna have some sort of transportation when you come down here?
Yeah, Uber.
Oh, okay. So you're coming down on the 25th, right?
I am coming down on the 25th. I know that the Sunday morning for any Eagles fans that are going to be in Dallas, they can reach out to me, and we're going to be taking a tour of AT&T Stadium. So at 11 o'clock in the morning. So if you ain't got nothing to do, tickets are $40. Love to have you come join us. I'm definitely going to go take a poop on the Star. I'm going to do the juju.
Your guy's obsession.
I'm going to go do.
So when are you going to be in? Well, we'll talk offline. We'll talk offline because I got to get you to come down to Sullivan's Barbecue. And Saturday night would be a perfect night for that. I know you got an Uber. Shoot, I might even pay for your Uber. At least there. You might have to pay your way back because it's going to be worth it if you can get away to have some of this barbecue. It's cheaper and it's very comparable, if not better, to Hard Eats.
Okay, well, I'll definitely check it out. I'm hoping that, like I said, so I think I get down there somewhere around 7 or 8 o'clock. So it's a matter of getting there and then getting to the hotel, getting my stuff up, and then going and making sure that I can make it out to eat some barbecue. I'm an eater. I'm an eater.
Is it 7 in the evening?
Yes.
Okay. All right. We'll play by ear then. We'll play by ear.
But but definitely you all want to catch up with us over at Texas Live. They said it's going to be a great show. And then we're also going to be tailgating. I'm going to be hitting a couple of different tailgates over in Dallas. So I'm going to be hitting ours. I'm going to go hit True Blues. And we're just going to be all hyped up and ready to go for Monday Night Football, opening up the 2021 season in Dallas with a big loss. That big loss is coming Dallas's way on Monday night. On Monday night because
Dallas sucks! Dallas sucks! Dallas sucks!
Not this week, baby. Not this week.
Yeah, it's coming. It's definitely coming. Don't worry.
And you know what sucks? I don't want neither of you to win because this would be ultimately for first place.
Yeah.
It depends. I don't know. I don't know who Washington's playing.
Yeah, it will be depending on what Washington does. Because I'm not sure. You know what? I'll check you. I'll tell you right now who Washington is playing.
That's what I was going to ask.
They are playing. And Washington is playing the Bills. So this will be for first place.
Yeah,
the Bills are going to come on with a little aggression after this past week, that loss they took.
Well, it's first place by ourselves if we win.
Correct.
If Dallas wins, it'll be a tie for first place if Washington wins. So yeah, because they would have one division, one conference, and one out of conference.
Yep.
So hopefully, if you guys could beat a team this year, you guys would only be a game and a half out or 2 games out.
It's only week 3. Only week 3.
So Buffalo lost last week?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's right.
They won last week.
They beat
Buffalo, crushed Miami.
Oh yeah, 35-0. That's right. And Chewy's out now. Oh, so before we shut it down, I just want to throw something out there real quick because I saw a picture of it. I saw this and I took a picture of it. And I kind of want your guys' thoughts. Now, I only did quarterbacks. All right. I only did quarterbacks, but it's the semifinals, the modern era nominees for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, class of 22. Now, this is just the semifinals of the quarterbacks. Randall Cunningham, Jake Delhomme, Boomer Esiason, Jeff Garcia, Dave Craig, Donovan McNabb, and the late, great Steve Air McNair. Your thoughts?
Ooh.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked Jake Delhomme is on here. I'm going to be honest.
Jake Delhomme's got the stats, plus he's been to the Super Bowl. I think
he does not have the stats. Jake Delhomme does not.
No, he does. He does.
Right, I agree. I don't think he's got the stats either.
No.
Oh, you'd be surprised the yards he was throwing back then. I mean, you got to remember he had Steve Smith as one of his receivers.
He's only thrown not even 21,000 yards.
Man, that's a lot.
I mean, I threw 0. Okay, yes, I'll acknowledge I've thrown 0.
Yeah, you got to remember he was playing in a time that wasn't, quarterback oriented as it is now. Hell, you heard what Kurt Warner told Tom Brady.
He was playing 90. What he told Tom Brady?
Yeah, Kurt Warner, what he told Tom Brady, he goes, "If I was still in the league, I could play till 52." Because there is the.
I didn't hear that's what he said. I heard he said something different. Hold on.
Don't do it.
Here,
Don't do it.
I said Kurt Warner, not Tom Brady.
I wish he would.
No, man. I think this week's games are going to be fun. I'm gonna take the Giants over Atlanta, and I'm definitely taking the Cowboys over the Eagles.
Yeah, I got that the other way around. Actually, I think it's going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be a really high-scoring game, and I think it's going to be like 35-31. I just don't know who's going to have the 35. It's going to be tighter than we think, and I think that both defenses are going to give up some yardage and some points. And I think that's going to happen. I also have the Bills crushing.
Yeah,
Washington.
I have the Bills as well.
And I mean, clearly, I'm definitely rooting for the Cowboys to lose. That's just...
There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
And that's all that
That'll work out in
matters.
my
So we got
favor,
everybody. What,
What
the
would you
Cowboys
say,
losing?
No, when Sneaky wants us to lose, we win.
Not all the time.
that was
Not all the time.
that was because he wanted you to lose that last game last year against Dallas, and you guys did. You guys got spanked. So, but all right, the spankings will continue. The spankings will continue this Monday night. But in the meantime, guys, hey, listen, thank you everybody for sticking with us again for another Wednesday. And next Wednesday, you better believe we're going to have a lot to talk about, because after we whip up on Dallas, I'm going to have a lot to say. I'm going to have a lot to say about how everything will happen. So,
And I'll just stay with the same.
We'll be starting a winning streak. Watch. We'll be starting a winning streak.
every winning streak starts with one.
That's right.
Yes.
So hopefully I won't have to bring the tissues for Sneaky. And with any luck, we'll have a Washington guy. But in the meantime, everybody have a great week. Enjoy football and go Birds!